guys, welcome back to the Startup Storybook. I'm Daniel, this is Turner, and we have Graycen Hall on the podcast today. She just graduated from Trinity University, bachelor's degree in neuroscience with a minor in women and gender studies. She's from Katy, Texas, so born and raised Texan.
Yep, that's me.
Yep,
Thanks for coming on.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So why don't we just jump right in and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so that was the basics there, like on paper. Let's see, what else is there to know about me? I This is good. So we were just talking about intramurals.
Yep.
And with that, I was playing sand volleyball. So I've always been like a sports kid, like throughout my entire life. My parents were just like, put her in sports. So through that, I found that I don't like playing soccer, which is a hot opinion, hot take to
I'm
have.
not good with my feet, so I agree with you there.
No, neither am I.
It's like that's not me. I fell in love with basketball, so that was my sport for a long time.
There we go.
And then unfortunately, like my sophomore year of high school, I was going up against like this girl who was like 6'4", and I was a center, believe it or not. I'm pretty short. I'm average. I'm average. I'm average. But I was going up against her for the position on the basketball team, and they ended up obviously picking her over me, but she couldn't even get a rebound. Like, it was so frustrating. Like, you have somebody who's like almost a foot shorter than you, able to get this ball, anyway.
Yeah.
But that led me to actually being a wrestler. So, like, I was a two-time state wrestler. My senior year, I was undefeated until my region finals match, where I tore my ACL and then unfortunately lost by points. But then I still went to state and actually won a match there. And
Okay.
then it just got to the point where, like, people start to target when they can see that you have an injury, and my leg was
Oh my
completely
gosh.
taped.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's little fun facts about me.
Wow. And so how do you get to Trinity?
Yeah, so unfortunately, women's wrestling is not very popular in the South. It's more so in the Midwest.
Mhm.
But the schools that have a program that support it aren't necessarily what I wanted out of academics.
Sure.
Like, I went to one school where they had like one biology professor,
Yeah.
and I was like, I can't do that. So I kind of had to give up the wrestling dream a little bit because I knew I wanted to focus on academics. I've always been science oriented. Really liked biology. I was able to take an AP Psych course where I learned about the brain and like the different parts of that, and that kind of was that initial spark for neuroscience. And then it was in the college search process that I realized I could actually major in that. And I was like, this is a beautiful blend of everything that I wanted.
Mhm.
So then after that, it just became where's the best program? And that was like Trinity and UT and a few others. But ultimately, it narrowed down to UT or Trinity, which with talking with people is like a pretty common dilemma to have, either that like big school or small school.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So it's just kind of weird the amount of people I've talked to, and they're like, wait, I was in the same boat. But I ultimately went small school just because I knew I wanted to pursue the research side of the degree. So a lot of neuroscience majors go the medical route, and I was like, that's not for me. Props to y'all, but I personally don't want that like type of responsibility. So I wanted to go somewhere where I knew I could get that undergraduate like research experience. And at UT, it would be more of like just do what people tell you to do. And at Trinity, it was very one-on-one, and like you get to kind of set the course for what you want it to be. And so through that, I ultimately ended up like running a research project my junior/senior year. And I'm very grateful for it.
Awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah, I feel like at smaller schools, you can get into the undergrad research
Yeah.
earlier than at something like UT Austin, where
Yeah.
maybe junior, maybe senior year, summer after your senior year or something like that. You
Then
would
you
look
finally get
something and get like
yeah.
your mentor or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool to be in that for, like, 4 years and, like, actually see it develop and be like, "Oh, this is the way we go," and, like, face those challenges instead of, like, a summer internship. Like you were saying, like, for, like, 10 weeks or something, you're dedicated to this project, and then it's like, okay, you can't really make that much of a, like, progression depending on where you go. So
And what do you think of San Antonio now that you've been here for a couple years?
so I grew up outside of Houston, so very, like, suburbia, but, like, access to Houston. So going from Houston to San Antonio, it was just big city to big city, which I think is wonderful, but in my time here, I've discovered is not for me. I'm kind of tired of that big city life. I absolutely love San Antonio. I wish that I had explored it more.
Sure.
Like, now that I'm moving away, I'm like, I didn't realize there were all these fun activities that are around, like, constantly, and there's so many, like, free events, and I'm like, where were these?"
The
Yeah.
zoo.
Yeah, the zoo was
Did you
fun.
We were there
We
on
did.
Tuesday, yesterday.
Yeah, we had to do a scavenger hunt, and you lost. Sorry, what can I
They
say?
may have cheated a little bit.
We did not cheat.
We made like Lamar Jackson edits.
Okay.
Have you seen the edit where it's like put your left hand
Hey,
over the
but you're
camera? Have you seen that?
No, but I'm also fairly uncultured, so
Oh, you're good.
you'll have to send it to me after.
Yeah.
That's funny
They
though.
know about it.
I'm sure they do.
They know about it.
I would
Yeah.
hope so.
No, it was crazy. We were being accused of, like, separating from the group, but that did not happen. Sorry, some people had to go to the restroom, you know?
Yeah, you just yeah. You gotta do
No,
what you
it
gotta
was
do,
fun.
right?
We just hate to see women succeed. It's okay.
Also, how do you get from neuroscience to entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so it's a little bit, it just kinda fell into my lap, if, like, I had to, like, sum it up. But speaking of going to, like, a small, liberal arts school, I needed a creative expression credit in order to graduate. And it just so happened that Trinity offers a, topics in horror board game class.
Okay.
And
That
which,
sounds cool.
like yeah, like, crazy, like, okay, let me just go understand horror. Like, I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I was like, "I love horror, and I love playing board games, so why not just mesh the 2?" And in this class, the semester-long project was to create your own board game. And I was like, "Wait, this is really cool. Okay." It just so happens that Claire Carpenter, who's my partner, in the project, was in this class as well. And so it was like a group of 4 of us, and we were friends before this, and we're like, "Well, this is like a crazy coincidence that we're here." And we did the board game for, the required project, and then after that, she had the idea of like, "Hey, what if we continued working on this a little bit more?" So we talked with our professor, and she was like, "I'd love to see what like a 2.0 version of this is, where like you work on it for another semester." And so that's what we decided to do. And we were like, "Why not just continue to develop it, work out the mechanics?" And through that, she was like, "Well, there's the Stumber competition, which is Trinity's like venture competition." And she was like, "Why not apply?" And I was like, "Honestly, sure. I don't, this could be fun. See if we could get some funding out of it to like actually build out this board game." And we did. We made it to the top 5. And with that, we got $5,000 to continue to like work and build and develop this game. And then part of that program is this accelerator program where student ventures come and then they continue to develop and work on their business. So that's how I ended up here. It was kind of I was like, why not take this opportunity to learn a little bit more? I know nothing about entrepreneurship before this. I was like, I just want to make a board game, but why not expand my horizons a little bit? So it's been cool.
That's a great example of how college can do that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know this is a conversation we have a lot on the podcast. It's like, is college worth it?
Hmm.
Or can you figure out the business entrepreneurship on your own?
Yeah.
And for you, like you're in the sciences, the neuroscience, like that's not something you might encounter had you
Yeah.
just I mean, I don't think as a neuroscience degree you
Yeah.
can go like just start working outside of high school. But yeah. Okay, maybe that point didn't make as much sense.
It's
But
okay. I saw where you were going.
Out of high school? What do you mean?
You mean like with the bachelor?
like
Working outside of
n-
college?
without going to college, you can't really do much with a
You can't like do
you can't go into
yeah,
neuroscience.
Oh, right. You need the
yeah, a
degree.
little
You
bit.
need
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
degree.
you
Yeah, for
definitely
sure.
do.
So,
No, I got
I
you.
understand.
yeah.
Yeah, we're following. We're following.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier, you don't have a name for the board game, but why don't you explain how it works?
So we're currently on the 3rd version of our board game. We do have a company. It is Madhouse Games. So, check us out. Um, and what we're like, the goal of the company is to make education fun again and more accessible. So there's sciences, kind of like exactly what we're talking about, have this like barrier where some people feel as if they can't enter into that domain if they're not like grown up in that environment, if they don't grow up in that environment, or there's just like this like the best word for it is a barrier to it. So we kind of want to make that a little bit more fun and engaging. And the way we're doing that is through board games because a lot of people enjoy the company that board games provide. So why not take this opportunity to kind of like sprinkle a little bit of learning without feeling like forced into learning? So the way this current version of the board game works is kind of think like battle bots. So players are going to try to build the best robot. And the way they do that is through the robot shop where they can buy either robot parts or like fun, cool gadgets. And what those component or those items add is like the front side of the card is going to explain like a concept. So for example, the cocktail party effect. It would be like cocktail party effect, it's where when you're in a noisy room and somebody says your name, you're still able to hear that. And then you'd flip it over and it would be a cool gadget that's like associated with that. So maybe like an echo gun or something like that. And then it helps build up your robot stats. And then you battle with your peers and you try to have the best one. And you can sabotage people and build a strategy and all that.
So how do you battle?
So right now it's we would love to have ideally you'd have like figurines and you're like moving around the board and you like stumble upon there's like a battle arena that you can enter, which is like also where the shop is. So it's like that risk of like,
Oh, I
oh, do
see.
I go buy something, but somebody could attack
So
me
so
while
you
I'm
could
doing
upgrade your
it.
character, but you could be like stabbed in the back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then it's just like a face off. So if I'm like at a level 7 and you're at like a level 5, I would win. But then you could have a gadget in your hand that's like, actually, I'm a level 8, and then you would win.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
How did y'all come up with this? Was it just like y'all playing a board game and like, oh, we should do this?
so like I said, this is version 3 of it.
Mhm.
The first version was actually in that board game class I was talking about, where it was originally like monster mash style, where you kind of like build your Frankenstein your own monster.
Mhm.
So that's where that like upgrade component came from. And then the next version of the game, it was like upgrading your scientist just because I have a love for science and Claire does as well. And we were just both realizing that this is a problem. Her mom is in education. And so, like, she's exposed to how hard it is to get people to like digest this information. So that's how we switched over to scientists. And then through feedback, we switched it to where like you're building up your robot instead of building up your scientist because it got too confusing in terms of like what to do next. So yeah.
How does the class teach you to do that? Like, what is the manual for creating a board game from board game class?
Yeah, there's probably a science behind it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, there really is. Like, so I guess very like naively was like, oh yeah, like you just make a board game. But there's so much that goes into it. You have to balance it correctly, like make sure your players don't feel like overwhelmed or things are too easy because then they get bored. You have to make sure everybody's turn like feels engaging in some way, otherwise you're gonna have people like checked out, which like definitely happened with our second version. We had somebody do Duolingo while somebody else was playing, and we were like,
Mm.
"Oh, that's that's not great." There's so many different board game mechanics. It was a lot, and so it was a lot of just like class discussions, and part of that was we actually played board games.
Mhm.
So we had like a lab for like 3 hours where we would play these board games. And then the next day we'd talk about it and be like, what worked, what didn't work, why did that happen? So it was really cool.
I'm sure as a neuroscience degree too, like seeing how the board game affects your mind
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was just about to say there's got to be lots of neuroscience and psychology.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah.
And I just didn't realize how much. So what's really cool is like part of the accelerator program, we had to do like 50 interviews. And like through these interviews of like potential customers, we found like a lot of people were like, I just learned so much about my friends throughout this. Like, people who are like rage baiters, people who pretend to do one thing and then they go behind your back last minute. There's that one person that's like fully collaborative and they're like, please guys, let's not argue, let's work this
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So it was really interesting to like actually see people be like, yeah, I love the sense of community, but also this is like a crazy psychological social experiment to see how different people react in different situations.
Yeah,
So that was always the interesting part for me that I was like, this is so much fun.
sure.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine your goal is to make these games and sell them.
Hmm.
Are y'all like, is this version ready, or is there going to be a couple more before you produce?
So, well, fortunately and unfortunately. Where we're at right now, I would say we're not ready. Like, there's so many rounds of playtesting that has to go through for a board game to like get published. And with the summer coming to an end, I'm gonna go start my PhD.
Mhm.
So the amount of time that I have to work on this is gonna be like severely limited.
Sure.
And then I'm moving to another state, so like then we won't be able to meet in person. It'll be like over Zoom. And
Yep.
Claire's staying here, but then is ultimately gonna like move to LA too. So it's at this like weird time where we want to continue to develop this board game, but it might be more like we won't be working on the same timeline
Mhm.
as before. So it'll be kind of more like
So where are you moving?
to Kentucky.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me
Yes.
UK, right?
UK. Yeah. Lexington, which I've only visited once,
Yeah.
and that was when I toured the school.
I've heard it's pretty up there.
That's what everyone has said. They're like, "You're gonna love it," and I'm like, "Kentucky?" Like,
I'm from Ohio originally.
Oh, okay. I did not know that, no.
I'm born and raised Ohio, Dayton,
Yeah.
Ohio, and then my family and I moved to San Antonio 2 years ago.
Oh, cool.
So no, I love the Midwest. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. I was like, my parents are both from Iowa.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
they were which is where my brother's actually going to college, which is like a weird full circle moment. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm excited but scared.
Wait, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get your PhD in neuroscience?
So technically it'll be a biology PhD, but just that's because where like my PI falls under, but I'll be looking at the effects of estrogen on the circadian rhythm. So like your sleep wake cycle and metabolism.
So you're kind of fusing the neuroscience and women and gender science
Exactly.
together?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
So really cool
Wait,
opportunity.
estrogen effects on estrogen on
Your circadian rhythm.
circadian rhythms,
Yeah.
like sleep cycles?
Yeah. Sleep and wake cycle and metabolism, and there's a lot that goes into that.
And is that part of the field you want to get into?
Yeah, it would be really cool. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot of research that's done on women,
Mhm.
just in general, which is kind of like that's like hill like that's a whole 3 hours right there. That's a whole 3 hour tangent. But I want to do my part and help to understand that.
Sure.
So,
Very cool.
yeah.
And you said
Awesome.
after grad school, eventually it'll end up in LA?
I won't be. That's where Claire's gonna go
Gotcha.
with her partner. He's gonna do grad school out there, and then
Okay.
she's gonna go move to live with him.
Gotcha.
So
Very cool.
yeah, scary out here, but exciting. But exciting.
Feels like a big step, kinda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the timeline is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy, but it's okay. Like technically, I start August 1st. Like
You're traveling soon.
yes.
August 1st, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How was
Like in a week?
Yeah. Actually.
how did graduating feel? I mean, obviously you knew you were going to Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
You had this board game going on. You got
Mhm.
family in a different state. Like,
Mhm.
how did that?
So I would say it was a really weird time.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best way I could describe it. And that there were a lot of moving parts in so many different directions that it was kind of hard to like keep my head on straight. I was like, I would tell my roommates constantly, I was like, I feel like I'm walking around like a headless chicken. And they were all like, yeah, we're in the same boat.
Mhm.
So at least that was nice, like knowing that like kind of my friends were going through the same thing. Um, I was talking with my professor who helped us like develop this board game, and she was like, "You're like actually crazy because after the marathon, you decided to do a sprint." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, you just graduated. You spent 4 years working on this degree, and then you decided to stay to continue this board game." I was like, "Yeah, it was fun." And she's like, "You're crazy," but like in a supportive way. So, do I really feel like I graduated? Not really.
Yeah.
Just because not a lot has changed. So, I really think it'll hit me like the second I'm like, "Oh, I'm staying in Kentucky." Like
Sure.
there's no like driving back home at the end of the summer, like none of that. So,
And how did you keep up Madhouse during the summer? Like, and during the time when you were maybe applying for grad school and
Mhm.
that type of thing?
Yeah, so then it just became a lot of like balancing. And like Claire and I were definitely both, well, she had also graduated.
Okay.
So, pro tip, don't start a business your senior year. Um, not, well, I mean, you
Really?
can, yeah, but you would think that you're like, oh, there's so much time
Yeah.
to do it. But at least with Trinity, there was not.
So you're saying do it earlier.
Yes, do it early.
So for everyone listening, if you're a
Start
freshman,
earlier.
do it now.
Yes. It'll be stressful, but you'll have more time to, like, develop it fully.
There you go.
I feel like a lot of what I did was kinda rushed,
Sure.
but, like, very like, that's part of the learning curve too. You never know how much time you actually have to work through and develop these things. So, in the sense of, like, I'm definitely the type of person that I would have sat there and, like, been like, "No, this isn't perfect. No, this isn't ready. We can't, like, submit this yet." But I think because of that accelerated timeline, I had to kinda learn to be like, "It's okay that it's not
Mhm.
perfect." So, it's okay that it's not perfect for people that need to hear that.
Mm.
Um, the question was how did I manage both of them?
Yeah, because one thing being a student entrepreneur is you
Mhm.
have, like you said, a million things going on at
Yeah,
the same time.
yeah.
And so trying to find the time to intentionally work on the business
Mhm.
is hard.
Yeah.
Senior year is filled with so many things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not even just school, like you're excited about going. You want to spend
Yeah.
time with your friends.
Yeah.
You need to apply to grad school,
Yeah.
all that type of thing.
Yes, yes. Um, I guess I could really just chalk it up to, like, time management, and if I'm being fully honest, a lot of sleepless nights,
Sure.
which is, like, not ideal, neuroscience and all that, you should sleep.
Yeah.
Um, so I would definitely say that there was some stress like, there was stress, like, there's no way around that, but I am very accomplished or feel accomplished in my ability to manage both things, like, exactly like what you're saying, it was a lot to deal with, so
And do you have like a specific app or thing that you use or
What tech?
strategy?
Yeah, technique.
yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that really helped is Claire and I would set like weekly meetings
Hmm.
where we would be like, okay, this is what we expect to be done at this point. So that helps in terms of like breaking down the project and then making sure that we're both delivering on what we said we would deliver on. So for me, that really helped. And then I learned to live by my Google Calendar. Like that's what worked for me. And I'd even sit there and I'd block out times and be like, okay, this is when I'm going to work on this. This is when I'm going to work on this. And this is when I'm going to work on this.
Yep.
And then I think a big part of it too was just having a support system that understood. So a lot of times, like, don't get me wrong, I was sit in those study rooms with my friends and non-productivity, talking about everything under the moon. But then there were other times where it was like, "Hey, I need to go study in the library. Does anybody else need to?" And then we're like, "Yes." And then I would create what we called a yap sheet. So anytime you had an idea that you're like, "Oh, I need to tell the person that, like, I'm studying with," we would set a timer for, like, 30, 20, whatever it is, and you would write down that thing on the yap sheet so that after that timer went off, then you could talk about it.
Hmm.
So it was like breaking down forced productivity.
Yeah.
So that's at least what worked for me.
It's like planned unproductivity,
Yeah.
planned
Yeah.
chaos, planned.
Blame chaos.
Organized
Yeah.
chaos.
No, I think that's a great tip. I know a lot of the obviously the main strategy is just make sure you're organized in some way.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of people, I play the viola in the orchestra,
Mm,
and some teachers will say when you're practicing, set a timer for, okay, I'm doing scales for only 5 minutes. And as soon as the timer goes
mm.
off, even if you just played a terrible note, like
Yeah,
you got to cut it off
yeah.
and move on to the next thing. And that does something in your brain that
Mhm.
keeps you focused, I guess. So I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
I was like, it definitely depends on the type of person, like,
Sure.
and or what project you're working on. Because like if you're writing a paper, then you're like, wait, let me let the ideas flow. You can't just be like, all right, and now I'm done, like whatever it is, planning that paper.
Sure.
Um, so I think college like really helped me learn a lot about myself and like the structure that I need in order to feel successful and feel productive. Because freshman year, I would lock myself in the library. Like it was really not good. And I was like, it became a joke where my friends would come find me and be like, "We knew you would be here." And I was like, "Oh, this is kind of getting bad." So throughout college, it really helps me to figure out when to have fun, when to study, and how to kind of like integrate the two
Hmm.
so that it didn't become super strenuous.
And neuroscience isn't easy. So,
No, it is not. Not to toot my own horn,
yeah,
but
no,
it is a little
exactly.
bit challenging.
So back to the game.
Yeah,
Do you have any names that you've been thinking of
for the game.
for the board game? Because I know it's Madhouse Games company, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What about the actual board game?
So right now we have it as Robot Battle, which is very creative and required a lot of neurons to fire to get that one. So we're not entirely sure about like a name for it itself. It used to be Mad Science Fair, but that doesn't really apply anymore
Yeah.
because you're not really doing the experiments, which was the second version of the game. But in this version, it's just like kind of brushing over the concepts. So if anybody has any ideas.
Y'all are Madhouse Games. Are you gonna
Hmm.
include Mad in some form or fashion in every single game y'all do? Like you can do
We wanted to.
Mad Robot.
Mad
If your
Robot.
next game is like a card game, like Mad Cards, I don't know.
Mad Card, something like that. Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Keep it
Like,
branded, but
That'd be good.
yeah.
Branding, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, the original why we were Madhouse Games is because we originally wanted to do like a mad science fair theme throughout it. So we're like, oh, this just like blends perfectly. And then the board game shifted and we're like, oh, well, we're still Madhouse Games.
yeah.
So I guess like yeah, doing something like that would be good to kind of have that through point throughout it.
But I like the way you guys have been like going about things, how you've put more emphasis on developing the actual game
Mm-hmm.
rather than just spending all your time trying to come up with names for it.
Yeah.
Because I think it
Yeah.
definitely just makes more sense to focus on the product
Mm-hmm.
and then figure out the name later on. Usually it'll just come to you.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll just come to you
Yeah.
eventually. And then you'll like it and it'll stick.
And then it'll say exactly like
But like
it's
especially with something like this, it's like,
uh-huh.
you know, finalizing and perfecting the product
Mm-hmm.
is like a huge priority. So
Yeah. And especially
yeah.
with how, like, versatile it is. Like I said, we're on, like, our 3rd version,
Yeah.
and I would say all 3 of these games are very different from each other. Like, there's some themes that connect it, but, like, mechanistically, like, the way we want players to interact with each other changes. So, if we had, like, been set on a game like, a title for it, it'd be hard to, like, pivot as much as we need to. So, we'll just kinda see.
How do you manufacture a game? Have y'all researched that yet?
Yeah, so we had originally hoped that we would be actually like manufacturing this game by the end of the summer. That is not the case, unfortunately. But we had a wonderful opportunity to go to like a board game convention where we got feedback from board game developers. And so they really helped us to be like, yeah, this is not fun, which is like really hard to hear when you've worked on this game for like now 9 months and then somebody's telling you that this is not ready. Um, but part of like in order to produce it, you could go one of two routes. So one is like self-published, so fully like indie where you're getting in touch with the manufacturer and the way to get popular or the most common way is through a Kickstarter.
Mhm.
So you get people to fund your board game and all that. Um, However, like 40% of Kickstarters are actually successful. And of those Kickstarters, they're backed by a bigger company that has like the PR that you need, the mailing list that you need, like the reputation and all that to get that like public traction. So you'd have to partner with someone like that and they're expensive. They're not cheap. And then the other way to go is just like to kind of cut out that middle part where you're doing the Kickstarter yourself and to go directly to a company that like public has connections to a manufacturer, they have connections to the PR team that you need, things like that. So ultimately we'd want to go the second route, which is like hard because you have to give up some of the creativity about the game because they're going to tweak it to fit their company so that it sells to their clientele. But luckily, there are some publishers that have this, like, scientific theme throughout them, so that's where we would kinda go.
Kind of more niche publishers,
Yeah.
not like Hasbro games or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. So, like, through the program, we realized that luckily there's been, like, an increase in Kickstarter support, which is really, really cool. But that also means the market is, like, super, super saturated, so it's really hard to tap into. So while we want our game to, like, help the general pop be a game that anybody could pick up and play, you kinda have to target, like what you were saying, those niche, manufacturers, those niche target audiences first, so to get the game out there. And then hopefully it'll be like, "Hey, I have this fun game," and they're like, "Whoa, I played this with my friends. Why don't I go pick this up?" and things.
Do you think it would sell in brick and mortar stores or just online?
Ideally.
Yeah.
Ideally, it would be brick and mortar, kinda like, probably more like local, bookstores at first, and then it would be awesome to get into, like, a Barnes& and Noble. Like, they kinda have
Yeah.
those fun, like, indie games
Yeah.
there.
I feel like once you get into a Walmart, you've made it,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
It's kind
but
of like getting a book. Like, if you've written a book and your book
yeah.
is in Walmart, You probably made it.
You probably might. I was like, it depends on what your like goal for success is, though. Like, are you wanting to be a general publisher, or are you wanting like this like really niche community to love you? So it kind of
Good
depends.
point. You're going for the niche.
We are,
Yes.
yeah, right now. So
I was just looking up. I assume you've heard of Exploding Kittens,
yeah,
right? And their Kickstarter story.
no, not
No,
entirely.
have you,
No.
Turner?
Mhm.
Okay. So let me just read you this. So Exploding Kittens was founded by what are their names? Matthew Inman, Elon Lee, and Shane Small.
Hmm.
They ran their Kickstarter from January 20th to February 19th, 2015, so for just 30 days.
Oh my gosh.
And their initial goal was $10,000,
Hmm.
and they hit that in 8 minutes. And they were 1,000% funded in under an hour, meaning they hit $100,000 plus almost immediately. They're the most backed
Yeah,
Kickstarter project ever with 219,000 backers, and they've generated $8.7 million pledged by campaigns, making it the third most funded Kickstarter campaign overall, number one among games,
that's
according
crazy.
to ChatGPT. And within 24 hours, they surpassed $1 million pledged.
That's insane. Yeah.
How much money do you need to say make the first
What,
1,000?
what's your goal? What's your like first fundraising goal, would you say?
Yeah, so again, that kind of depends. Like if we were going the self publishing route, it costs about like again, these are just kind of like ballpark numbers, but like 30,000 to produce the game, and that's like 1,500 copies.
Okay.
And then it costs another like 20 to 30,000 to like get that publisher backing to get that outreach. So that's a lot in the hole there. So in terms of like if we go the second route, the route that we're wanting to go, what we're really going to do is like sell the idea to
Right.
a company. So then they would deal with all the publishing costs and PR costs.
And I meant to ask this earlier. When you do
Mhm.
that, is it like you're selling a percentage of your company, or you're actually selling the license for that idea?
The idea.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be like Madhouse would be separated from it. And it would really just kind of be, I don't know if you've ever like looked on the side of a board game
Mhm.
box, but you'll see a bunch of like company logos in terms of like who's worked on it, who's produced it. So we would have our logo on that box, along with like the bigger, like Blue Star Games, if you know that, or a manufacturer is called like Panda Games.
So
So
is it kind of like IP, intellectual property, kind of like
Get some
Mhm.
royalty.
that's a business model in and of itself. Just
Yeah,
come up with board game ideas
yeah,
and just like sell it to the bigger guys.
yeah.
And
So
I'm sure.
that's kind of where we're going.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you get in with them, they're like, "Oh, these
These are
guys
good. Yeah.
good."
And then you come up
Okay.
with more things maybe and like,
Exactly, yeah, that's the one model of
oh
it, so
wow.
that's kinda where we're going. And so, like, part of that you have to get these bigger guys to, like, believe that your idea is worth it. So that's where this, like, prototyping and play testing comes in, is, like, you get people to actually play your game, give you feedback on it to help, like, tweak the mechanics of it. And then the other half of that is being like, "We've had 100 people play this game, and this is what they've said." So to kinda get that, like, mailing list going so that these big companies are like, "Oh, wait, yeah, actually people want to play this game, so let's produce it."
It's like a clinical trial for.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
So are there actual like sign up to test a game groups on like Reddit or something?
It's like focus groups kind of.
Yeah.
Wait, are they paid usually or no? You
So
can incentivize that people by paying.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we've kinda started small just because 'cause we're not in the position to, like, really be paying people to do this. And so the board game community is, like, actually very friendly. They're like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, we just kinda wanna see you succeed." So, at the convention I talked about earlier, which was LFG Con in, it was right outside of LA, Burbank,
Mhm.
Where
California.
Hollywood is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We were, like, right by Hollywood Studios. It
Yeah.
was, like, crazy to be at a board game convention right there. We actually had people play test our game. So they were just there to, like, play board games. That was, like, the whole appeal. Play board games, win board games, buy some cool, like, different dice and, like, all these, like, other board games. And so they had, like, this thing that was called First Play, and it was just a bunch of people who were in the process of developing their board game then. So people knew that when they, like, stepped in, and they were there to give feedback. And so that was really cool. The other way we've done it is there's like local board game cafes
Mhm.
where like once you kind of like know the owner or like a worker there, you kind of be like, hey, would you be willing to host like a play testing? We're trying to develop this board game. And a lot of the time the answer is yes. So it's just really cool that these strangers will help somebody out. They really just want to see you succeed.
I've never heard of a board game cafe.
Cafe.
Have you?
No.
It's a really cool place where you can go and just play board games for free.
Wow.
They have, like, different levels, so, like, there's some that you have to pay for if they're a little bit more expensive or, like, something like that. But the majority of it, it's just free. There's a bunch of tables, you sit down, at some of them, you can, like, get a drink or 2, and you just play with a bunch of friends until play whatever game you want, stay as long as you want, well, until they close, and just have a good time.
It reminds me of like a retirement home or something, you know?
How?
Just like, I don't know, or like a veterans community or something like that. You know, just everyone playing games, like
Oh, just because like those
I
people
don't
like
know.
to
I'm
play.
just like visualizing. What's like the demographic? Like
It's a lot
what kind
younger.
of people were at the convention?
So, there was a I, like, couldn't even, like, give you an age range. There was, like, a wide variety of people there. There were, a lot the big, like, pull, I would say, is, like, Dungeons& and Dragons. So, a lot of people who like to play that game are there at these conventions, but there's also just such a wide variety of games that fill a bunch of different niches, you really never know who's gonna, like, kinda walk through the door. So, there were families there with their kids, there were, like, a bunch of, like, old friends getting together. It was just a crazy array to see, like, all these people in one space, and they're just sitting around tables, like, playing board games and inviting strangers to come play with them and all that, so
With your game
that's really
and
cool.
your more unique niche,
Mhm.
have you thought about like maybe there's some nonprofit out there
Mhm.
that's science related that would be interested in doing it for their youth education series or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah, so that's a lot of the feedback that we've gotten is like, "Oh, this would be a great thing, like, education-wise."
Hmm.
Which, like, it in my dream for the game is that this is something a teacher can pull out of the closet on the fun Friday.
Hmm.
The kids are still learning, but the teacher doesn't feel like she has to sit there and walk them through, so
Hmm.
she gets a little bit of a break, and if they have a question about something, then they, would ask her, and then it facilitates this, like, discussion.
Hmm.
So, it's really hard to get into schools, which was, like, originally a path we were gonna go down and be like, "Oh, we're gonna sell this to, districts and be like, this is a great, like, lesson plan and all this stuff." Um, that's really hard to do just because of, like, what's allowed in the classroom, so you'd have to be, like, TEAC certified, and that's just for Texas. And if we wanted to expand beyond that, then you'd have to have, like, each state certification. Um,
It's called what certification? The
like TEACs, which
okay.
is, like, the
Teaching.
guideline.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
For Texas. So, like, what they can and cannot teach in a classroom, basically.
Okay.
And then, like, for if we wanted to expand beyond Texas, they would have you'd have to have that for, like, each state. And, so what we thought about was, like, maybe this is, like, a summer camp type of thing, which could be a fun route to go. And it's just a matter of, like, what age range do we really wanna hit? With this version of the game, it's a little bit, like you could say, like, 12 plus, but, like, the concepts are a little bit, like, higher ed, so it would be we kinda want, like, the ideal person to buy this game to be, like, 18 to 30,
Mm.
which is, like, actually the majority of people who are buying board games, either to, like, play with friends or their young parents that wanna, like, play with, their kids and all that. Um, so, yeah, we definitely thought about, like, going the education route, but right now, I think we're just kinda shooting, directly to the consumer and then would hopefully be able to integrate it in the future.
Even you could even go after like board game clubs at schools.
Mhm.
That could be a way to bypass the certification.
Yeah,
Yeah, just go
yeah.
for the student-led groups.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Trinity has, like, a board game club. They should.
High schools too.
Yeah, even at, like, the high school
Like a
level
lot of high
too.
schools got board game clubs
Yeah.
or even like chess clubs.
Just
Like
clubs,
Mhm.
they
yeah.
would probably be down to play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, we talked to, like, someone in the alumni, center, and she was like, "Yeah, we host a board game every week," or something like that, and I was like, "You do? Check out mine," and they were like, "We'd love to." So, even, like, going that way too, like, with amongst staff and, um, any type of, like,
Or even
school or
another
business.
I know I mentioned retirement homes and like not like, jokes aside, like, I think that's another market too, going
Yeah.
after old folks
Yeah.
who want to, like, um, keep dementia away, keep their
Mhm.
brain sharp,
Mhm.
Have something
and
fresh
plus
to do.
have something fun to do with
Yeah.
people.
Or their kids come to visit them, and
Maybe
they
the
Right.
bring the grandkids
maybe
and all
old folks
that.
home
Yeah.
could be a good place for
Yeah,
just to
definitely.
get the older, like, population to test it out too, because I
Mhm.
bet, like, observing younger people play it can be very different from observing older people from
Mhm.
playing it.
Mhm.
It's just in terms of, like, from a cognitive standpoint and just, like, different personalities and
Yeah.
things like that.
You'd be surprised how many different player types there are. There are that again, going back to the neuroscience psychology of it.
How many have you seen, maybe?
Um,
How many different kind of, like, yeah, types?
yeah, so it's really hard to like put like I know I just said types, but like put a like pin on it because people
Yeah.
are typically a combination of
Oh, yeah.
what everything, and it just depends on the type of game that you're playing too. But you have that like fully cooperative person that's like everybody, let's just all get along and all succeed together. And then like on the opposite side of that is the person that's like I'm stabbing all of you in the back, I'm winning,
Win at
like
no cost.
yeah, exactly. So, like, you have that full spectrum of it,
Mm.
and then you have those people who like to if it's a game where you need to, like, collect resources, they hoard resources in the beginning and then kinda, like, distribute it out, versus the other person that's like, "I'm buying stuff as soon as I have the, like, money or currency to do that." There's people.
Oops.
Well well, it's like the table
It is
breathing.
moving. Put it down.
That one was.
How about that? There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're good. So, like, that's another example. There's, like, the stab behind the back person who, like, presents one way and then does the other
Oh,
thing,
I
and
always hate
then
that so
yeah.
much.
Have you ever played like, Secret Hitler?
Um,
No?
oh, I have. Wait,
Yeah. It's kinda like, Mafia?
played
Yeah.
Mafia. It's kind
Yeah.
of the same thing.
Yeah, it's along the same lines there. Or, like, the other, like, version of it is, like, One Night Werewolf,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah,
where
like
you have
Werewolf, where,
yeah.
like, you wank or something like that.
Yeah, to acknowledge, yeah. So that's, like, what it is. Like, it's
I
basically all
always
sabotage.
I always hate the person who's, like, the sabotager, but I
Yeah.
love being that person.
Like, "Guys, it's me, guys, it's me."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's funny. Or you start to, like, think you can read people and you're like, "You're really quiet this
Oh,
round, you
yeah.
must be"
I'm,
yeah.
like, looking at your pupils trying to see if they're
Yeah.
dilated. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun, be like, "You sniffed 3 times when they said this,
Yeah.
that must mean"
Yeah.
that's fun.
So why don't y'all do the self-publishing route? Because obviously $50,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
However, in relation to like bringing a drug to market,
Mhm.
it's not too bad, right?
Yeah.
So to me, the value of keeping the board game to yourself,
Mhm.
obviously you are owning it and you get to do whatever you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
with
yeah.
it. And you could organically grow an audience, that type
Mhm,
of thing.
mhm.
More work potentially, but maybe more payoff.
Yeah.
Is that something y'all entertained or it's just not in the cards for pun intended in the cards right now?
So it's definitely something we thought about, but I think a lot of it just comes down to where we are in our lives.
Hmm.
Like I personally don't have $50,000 just laying around that I could invest into this board game.
Yeah.
So like there's that financial strain on it. And then as well as just the amount of work that it's going to take. Like don't get me wrong, I've fully loved like dedicating myself to this, but it is like a full-time job,
Yeah.
like working 40 hours a week to develop the mechanics of it, working to make sure that we're targeting the right people, like getting these play tests organized, doing these interviews. It's been so much fun, but I just don't have that time going forward.
And that's not even getting into um, starting manufacturing,
Like
Exactly.
the
marketing.
business of
Yeah, the
Business.
business of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's understandable. And I was just curious.
Yeah, no, totally fair.
There could be someone at this conference that you went to that
Mhm.
has built board games over time and
Mhm.
is like, oh, I really like these two people in the game that they're making. Here's $50,000, right? Like
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
there's
Yeah.
opportunities or investment opportunities that could help with that. But
Yeah.
there's definitely, I mean, there's two ways to do it.
Yeah,
Multiple ways.
for sure.
So
And I think a lot of it too is um, like what you're saying is finding those people. Like that really does happen.
yeah,
Like we went to a smaller one, so this was like their first year doing it. But the big one is Gen Con. And there are
yeah,
publishers there looking for ideas, there's investors there, and then like there's people that just like want to play. So that's like a really huge event that we would like love to go to. It just again doesn't align scheduling wise, but in the future would be something that we would want to do.
Yeah.
When is it?
I want to say it's like September.
Yeah.
It was like
So
off the dome, I think.
so you and Claire will not be able to.
No, we won't.
You guys are gonna be
Unfortunately,
separate. Yeah.
it's like in Indiana, if I'm remembering.
You'll be
correctly.
pretty close in Kentucky.
Yeah, just a quick plane.
Yeah, right.
So, but we talked with a lot of people at the convention that we did go to, and they were like, "Oh, well, my game is too like niche to do a publisher company." Or I realized I didn't want to give up that much like creativity like in the game production itself. So they did go like the self-publishing way. So it was really interesting to talk to those people that went that way, and then there's the other people that didn't, and just kind of get different perspectives on it.
Gen Con is July 31st through
Cool.
August 3rd. So
Oh,
You've got a few days.
I was off. I was off.
Next week.
next
yeah.
week.
Yeah, you're starting school. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will not
Boo.
be able to be.
So I feel like we might have hit on this already, but what was the hardest thing that you didn't expect with starting Madhouse?
Being told that my game sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
you kind of start developing this, like, it's like an echo chamber, really. Like, anybody that, like, knows me has heard me talk about this game, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." And then, like, we did playtesting with people at Trinity. And even there, they were like, "This is so much fun. I really enjoyed that." And then getting to California and, like, having people like, again, very grateful for, but then, like, trying to politely be like, "This game sucks." And then I was like, "Okay, just, like, shoot straight with me." And they were like, "It's too complicated. It doesn't work. Thematically, there's a disconnect." And that was, like, very heartbreaking to, like, hear. Because like I said, we had been developing it for 9 months at that point, and I was like, "What?"
It's like your baby.
Yeah, literally a baby.
9 months, literally your baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't want to hear your baby's ugly.
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
There are
Yeah.
some ugly babies out there, but no one
This is
no
true.
one wants to hear that.
But I was like, obviously not mine.
No, well, I mean, that's
Obviously.
what makes you. That's what helps
Yeah.
you improve, and like
Yeah.
you need people to be. I mean, hopefully they don't
Honest.
say it like it sucks, but they're like these things are great, and then like you can improve on these certain things.
Yeah.
So
I like that was just hard to hear. But then like coming back from that and being like, okay, we actually got some really good feedback.
Yeah.
And like exactly just implementing it, like how you're talking
so
about.
then like what makes a good board game? What makes the best selling board games better than the ones that don't sell at all?
Here, can I give it a guess? And then maybe you tell me if I'm right. I think they have to be simple,
Okay.
fast. Well, maybe not fast paced, but they keep you engaged. So simple, engaging, and it has to get something going emotionally. So we'll call it rewarding. Simple, engaging, rewarding.
And then I've got another thing.
Yeah.
Something you need to have like the kicker. Like the thing that makes it like
Unique,
super like
like
what's
a
that
twist.
what's that game where you've got that inflatable like it's like the caveman game and you like hit people like
Yeah.
oh
I know what you're
it's
talking
where you
about.
talk caveman.
Yeah.
You're like I eat apple or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it is, but
I can't say I do.
Like
but
some
yeah,
like
sure.
unique element.
Oh yeah,
that's
like it's like an
kind of the wow
Yeah.
factor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah. I was like,
was that pretty accurate?
yes, but it also depends on who you're targeting.
Oh.
So
That's the correct answer.
So like yes, but also no.
Yeah.
Because like there's those people that like to sit there and play like the new I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but there's a Dune board game and it is super complicated and it is super long and like there's a niche group of people that like to do that. And then there's people who want to just do like the party game that's like 20 minutes, like
Yeah.
easy game. Like we're not really like engaged in the game. We're just kind of this is the facilitator of our conversation.
Mm.
And then there's the other that's like, oh, I can sit down for about like 2 hours and be invested in this game and all that. So that's kind of like more like your family or like game night style. And then, so like it just depends on who you're targeting. But I do agree, like all of them have to have some element that like keep you engaged, whether if that's like in the game directly or if it's like with the people you're around or like something like that. So
Which one are y'all targeting?
We're kind of going more towards that like family game night.
Yeah.
So where people can commit about like an hour, 2 hours. 2 hours is kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
But they feel like it's time well spent. They're like, oh, I learned this new fact, but more importantly, I spent time with people that I love to be around. So,
That makes a lot of sense because the person who's going to play solitaire
hmm
is a very different person than who's going to play Exploding Kittens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or play Catan or something like
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Or play Monopoly. You know, like there's obviously there's
Monopoly's
some like
different. Yeah.
halo effects there that you're gonna get like people that do the same thing. But so like that was like like I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I had no idea that there were board games that take an hour to set up, and then even like we haven't even played yet, and we're already an hour invested, and then like 2 hours to get like the full playthrough. Like that's just not me. I'm just not that type of player.
Yeah. Niches inside of niches. I would have thought the board game industry was like niche enough already.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
The riches are in the niches for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, so but for a family board game,
Yeah.
like what makes certain family board games
Mm.
different from other family board games?
Yeah, so this is kind of going back to like your simple comment.
Okay.
Like, I think if you're trying to be as generalizable as possible, you have to keep it simple. That way, that like barrier is as low as possible.
Mhm.
So that's definitely something that we learned with ours. It was way too complicated, so we kind of stripped it back to kind of keep it as easy to understand as possible. That's the other thing is the instructions can't be complicated.
I was just about to say the thing I dislike most about
hmm
any sort of games is learning it.
Yeah,
Once I'm in the groove and
yeah,
I know it, then I'm having
and I'm
fun.
good. Yeah.
But like it's like that. It's like it feels for at least for me, it feels like a
hmm
huge learning curve.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
like it's like a struggle. It's like I'd much
That's
rather just go for a walk or something.
yeah.
Walk outside. I don't
That's
know, even
definitely the biggest
like, do we have to play this? It's like,
yeah.
well, then they're trying to teach me, and it's like,
And I'm like, I don't know what to
it's
do on
like,
my turn.
and then they give me
Yeah.
the instruction manual, and it's like a bunch of words, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to read all that. It's
I'm not here to read a novel. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to play the game.
yeah, and then it's like, well, let's just start, and then you kind of learn on the way.
Yeah.
But
And like it's so helpful when you have like somebody that knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
Which I think is so hard about like trying to produce a new one is you don't really have that person that's like, oh yeah, I've played this before. This is what you do. Because like even I resort to that friend and I'm like, wait, hypothetically, if you had this hand, what would you do? And they're like, well, I would do this. And then like you start to like figure out the vibes of the game. So that's something that we're trying to overcome. And that's actually like an opportunity for us to like use technology. So ideally it would be like a chat bot type
Yeah.
of situation where you could just be like or like when people start arguing over the rules and they're like, no, I saw on page 3 that it says this, but like I swear and then you like sit there and you can't find what you're referencing. So it would just be like something that you could be like, hey, can I actually play this card in this situation? And then it could be like, yes, or it could be like no.
because I think I overheard Claire talking about that because
Mm-hmm.
all you guys were talking about how you could implement AI,
Yeah.
and I think she was talking about that chatbot
Yeah.
feature, something where it could like almost be a referee,
Yeah, exactly.
a referee and a coach. Yeah.
Mm.
I have my phone open with your chatbot app for
Mhm.
Madhouse Games, and it says, "Oh, this is how you play the game."
Kind of like that
Mm.
line. It would be really cool to like build it out so it could be like all the different games that we have and you click
Yeah,
on that and then ask questions. But like obviously with this one, you would just start with one and then just
I mean, that's
be like,
almost a
yeah.
totally different app business, and
I know, like there's
like
so
you could
many
make an
things.
app that just like
it does all the games.
It does
it's
that
got
for
all
games.
it's got like the top 1,000 board games
Mhm.
in the U.S. on there,
Mhm.
and it's got all the instructions, but just like simple, put out in like extremely simple language, simple format,
Mhm.
way better than like the manual. Or like sometimes like you lose the instructions on the board game,
And then you're like, yeah.
and then you pull it out. We haven't played this in 10 years, and it's like,
How,
how do I do it? And then you Google search it.
And then
I
it's
guess
the wrong PDF and it's the
Yeah,
wrong
I guess we have
version.
ChatGPT now, but even that is it can be
Not as reliable.
not as reliable.
Yeah.
So
No way.
Yeah.
Was-
Next $1 million idea.
Luda Mentor is your personal AI board game
that was
companion,
the thing.
here to make every game night smoother and more fun. With a comprehensive knowledge base,
Run up the first.
Ludo
There you
Mentor
go.
is here to answer your rule-related questions and keep your focus on having a great time.
Is it like open access?
That's crazy.
Or like can anybody
Wait, is that an app or
It's an
website?
app, yeah, it's on Google Play. Here, let's see.
Google Play.
I guess that's how the App Store is.
Okay.
Let's see what ChatGPT says. It's crazy.
This is I was like, with all these like AI innovations, I'm not surprised that somebody thought of it first.
Oh, okay, well, ChatGPT doesn't know what it is.
Okay.
But
I could start the app and we could make a partnership
This
between
is what
us.
we'll do.
Yeah.
And then you only promote Madhouse Games board games.
Yeah, I can be Madhouse's Games #1 sponsor.
Yeah.
Promoter.
Yeah, because then that's the game too. What game do you probably like? Can companies buy like access to the platform to like get their rules on there?
right.
There you go. Making money.
Yeah,
Entrepreneurship.
that could be a really cool idea.
Yeah. So you heard it here first. If anybody develops that, it was on.
Yeah, no, we'll have to
podcast,
cut
right?
that so no one
Yeah.
does it. Kidding.
Yeah, kidding.
Yeah, kidding.
Wow, that's cool.
Mhm.
So, go to Kentucky.
Mhm.
What are your goals after finishing your PhD?
That's such a great question that I don't entirely know right now.
Yeah, that's fair. It's because it's I should know this. It's 2 years.
5.5.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So a master's is like 2 years.
Master's 2 years.
But a PhD is more like 5.5, depending on like if all your research goes correctly.
Right.
So it'll be a little bit of a struggle. But what I like about the University of Kentucky is that they have different programs in place. So if I wanted to, I could get a teaching certificate
Mhm.
and then I could go back into academia and that way, which right now I'm leaning against doing. So then it could just be like industry, which could be like working for a state lab or a federal lab or something like that. And then there's also like private labs and there's different ways to go about it.
Teaching may not be your thing.
Yeah. I was like, I love it though. I love being a mentor. Like that was the other thing that Trinity offered me is I was a peer tutor for so like I want to say like 6 out of my 8 semesters or something like that. And that what I really did enjoy it. But I just don't think I could see myself in like a professorship situation.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you still like mentoring and developing
do.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very rewarding to like see them be like, wait, this is what this means. And I'm
Do you know
like,
your Clinton strengths? You guys had to take that, right?
do I know them off the top of my head? No.
No?
But I could definitely look them up if you wanted me to.
Because I know developer is one. I think that's one that I have.
I was like, I know mine's learner and competitive,
Yeah,
which makes sense.
I've got competitive.
Yeah. I forget what like my top. I know competitive is 5. I don't know what my top one is though.
If y'all want to, we can pull them up. Could be interesting. What do you think, Daniel?
I kind of want to talk about well, I don't mean to like
No,
just
go for it.
that.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to your freshman yourself, like Grayson first day at
Oh
Trinity?
gosh. Girl, calm down, is what I would say. Because I was just a nervous, like a ball of nerves. I was like, I don't know what's going on, and I'm so scared. And like, um, I would consider myself at the time like pretty introverted, which is very ironic to say since I did O team for 2 years. So I was out there cheering and yelling and making a fool of myself to all these incoming freshmen. So if my freshman self knew I was doing that, she'd be like, "You're like
Wait,
actually
what is
crazy."
O team?
Like orientation
Oh,
team.
orientation. Okay.
Yeah. So like the people that like for Trinity, it's like tie dye,
Yeah.
and they're like waving the banners and they're doing
Oh,
the
yeah.
icebreakers and
You're
like
going
all that
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like kind of funny to like look back and reflect on. The other thing I would say is you're not gonna find your people right away, and that's okay. I was like, it's really scary when you feel like you don't have that like security or like support system, and it's okay when people like show their true colors and you realize you don't vibe with them. We're all trying to figure it out, so there's nothing wrong with realizing that a person is not who they thought they were. Like, not in, like, a lot of people use that, like, in a negative way.
Mhm.
They're like, "Oh, I didn't know that you blah, 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 whatever." But, like, just, like, you're all trying to figure out who you are, and you can't show that, like, the first like, especially in this, like, huge time of transition.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like people show up to a new place, new college, new
Yeah.
people. First year, everyone's kind of putting up a
front.
mask, a
Yeah.
different kind of yeah, putting their best foot forward.
Yeah.
When you spend more time with someone, you start realizing that, you know, we all have our like
strengths and
Strengths and
weaknesses, and
weaknesses,
yeah.
exactly.
And just because I don't match with what your strengths are, that's not like a reflection of either us being a bad person. We're just not as compatible as we thought we were.
Mhm. Yeah, there's definitely a shift in groups between first semester
Mhm.
freshman year and
Mhm.
the spring.
Yeah.
And then
That's
even
true.
every year maybe it shifts a little bit
Mhm.
just because it's such a melting pot.
Yeah.
Like you said,
I mean,
to a new place,
each year you've got this big chunk of people graduating. You
Yeah.
got this big chunk of people coming in.
different mindset, major.
Exactly, yeah. People
Yeah,
just trying to find their groove, so
totally.
yeah.
And what about someone who wants to start a board game or start a
Mhm.
business? What would you tell them in college?
In college, I was like, "You can do it. It's a lot more work than you think it's gonna be, but you can, like, definitely do it." Um, I would say I know I kinda, like, touched on this a little bit more, but I wish I had taken the time to kinda slow down a little bit and really do the research that I needed to do to, like, fully immerse myself in what it truly means to, like, make a board game or even, like, start a business. Like, coming from this, like, from the STEM side, having no experience in, like, entrepreneurship, like, it was very overwhelming to try to learn this new terminology and this new way of thinking and all that. So, like, when we were applying for the Stumberg competition, I was like Claire is a marketing and communications major, so she kinda, like, took the reins there, and I was like, "Whew,
Mhm.
thank goodness." Um but that also meant I didn't fully understand what she was telling me when she was doing these things. So I would have loved the chance to kinda like, "Wait, hold on, digest this a little bit more." But
And obviously, that's a natural byproduct of you not being in the business
Mhm,
school.
mhm.
What do you think can be done, or should anything be done to maybe expose more
Help
people
out.
to that?
Well, I kinda think that just, like, is the, like, small liberal arts college, there's, like, so many different opportunities that I think it's there. It's just, like, not natural for somebody to go outside of their comfort zone, you
Mhm.
know? So, like, you can try to push them as much as you want in these different directions, um, but, like, you'll never know when you fall in to where. Like, I just needed a creative expression, that's all it was, and now suddenly I have an LLC. Like, there's these weird paths for how people get there, and you can't, like, really predict that.
Sure.
So, I don't know if there's anything that can be done more except beside, like, just having those opportunities there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying, had you done it over again, you would have spent more time prepping, planning, learning
Mhm.
prior to launching? Or would it have been just spent more intentional time?
More intentional time. Yeah, I think I approached it with the like, this is gonna sound really bad, and I apologize to all my entrepreneurs out there.
Sure.
But just I didn't know what it meant to, like, really be an entrepreneur, so I was like, "Oh, this is easy." Like, I don't have to put much thought into that. I was so wrong. I was very, very wrong. So, I think going in with a different mindset really would have helped and be like, "It's gonna take time to understand, it's gonna take time to act." Like, it's not just like "Oh, I can sit down for 5 minutes and write this up."
When you say to understand, do you mean
Mhm.
like how to do a customer interview, how to,
Mhm.
I mean, figuring out your LLC and that type of stuff is maybe challenging for the first time, but once you kind
Mhm.
of figure it out, it's just
Mhm.
legal documents, right?
Yeah.
You can do it in like 15 minutes.
Is the
Yeah.
is the more like customer discovery, creating a mission, that type of thing?
Research, yeah, all
What
that
you mean?
stuff. Yeah,
That
like
stuff you
putting in the work to do the secondary research, putting in the work to do the primary research, making sure what you're getting is like actually of value because the amount of work that you put in is like what you're going to get out of it,
Oh, sure.
right? So like if I sit there and I make a 5 question like little survey, people are going to respond yes, no, right? But if I sit there and I actually have those like one-on-one conversations or I have those like more like thinking thought-provoking questions that
Mhm.
I've taken the time to develop, I'm gonna get more out of it, and then that helps me in the long run.
Kinda similar to what you were saying earlier, Daniel, if you spend an entire day figuring out the name of your board game
Yeah,
rather
exactly.
than spending an entire day working on the game mechanics,
Yeah,
you're gonna get 2 very different outcomes.
exactly.
Smoke and mirrors versus a actual physical,
Yeah.
tangible thing.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
I
like
have to
someone
agree.
would much likely buy a great game that's fun that they have heard, you know, amazing things about from their friend that
Mhm.
has like a kind of a mad name
Yeah.
than like a game that has a great name, but it's like
Yeah, like the caveman
it's
game
got
that
no
you didn't know the
substance to
name
it.
of?
It's
Yeah,
even
see,
called.
the perfect example
No, I
right
gotta
there.
find that. Yeah.
Like I can't recall how many times I don't know the name of the board game, but I'm like, hey, it's this one game that we do this in. So
Yeah.
to back off of that.
Very similar to
Oh.
social media, like the trendy thing that has the clickbaity title and everything is not what will be steady and consistent over time.
Yeah.
It's called Poetry for Neanderthals.
Yeah,
What it's
that's not
called.
what I was thinking about.
And you see, look, you see the little inflatable bat? That's what I'm
Oh,
talking about.
inflate.
And like whenever it's like a word guessing game, and when you get it wrong, you like hit them on the head.
That's crazy.
There it is. Okay.
Okay,
That's-
problem solved.
yeah.
Mystery,
For real.
mystery. We're good.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep, yep, yep.
You get whacked on the head for not knowing.
The word, yeah.
That's fun.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah. What else should we talk about? Ask us something.
What's your like craziest entrepreneurial story that you've heard on here? Like either in the podcast or just in your life in general.
Savannah?
In like terms of like
Impressive.
and just impressiveness, she has a digital so okay, Savannah, she is gonna be a sophomore at our school.
Mhm.
And when she was 14, she started her digital marketing.
Oh,
It's called
whoa.
Bloom Marketing.
Okay.
It's like social media, that kind of stuff. And she's, I think, approaching or at 100K in like annual revenue now.
Oh my gosh, that's
She's like
awesome.
probably 19, so
That's very impressive. Good for
yeah,
her.
yeah.
Yeah.
The craziest story. Like, I'm trying to think of weird or random things, coincidences.
Yeah.
You probably have
I
these.
put y'all on the spot.
No,
Yeah.
you're.
Our first guest, his name was Wesley Mullen.
Oh yeah, that's good.
He is a great person, and he is missing half of his, I believe it's his right arm.
Oh,
So he has like a little nub here.
Mhm.
And one of our good friends, when he was growing up, had a whole bunch of like issues and being self-conscious about that, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And he's kind of grown into it and is making a company where he creates products for people with limb differences to
wow.
go outdoors.
That's
So
awesome.
like a fly fishing rod where you can use it with one arm.
Mhm.
He's making a wheelchair that like goes outdoors.
Oh.
And I think he's one of my favorite stories
Yeah.
of like using something that would and has been for him like
Mhm.
not a good situation and
Mhm.
maybe
A disadvantage.
a disadvantage,
Yeah.
negative, and turn it into something that
Into
is
a positive.
a positive
Yeah.
and gonna help other people, right?
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
I think that's one of my favorite
Mhm.
unique stories.
I agree. That's probably like the most kind of like just inspiring.
But
That's really inspiring.
there's so many, and that's why I'm enjoyed doing this
Yeah.
because you're hearing stories from people across the country. Like we have
Yeah.
our next couple of guests are from Alabama,
Oh, cool.
Auburn, Ohio
Yeah.
State, like all across the United States, and I'm sure they'll have their own unique little things. That's like, wow, I had no clue that Jim in Louisiana could do that.
Could do that. Yeah. That's cool.
But at the same time, there's so many similarities between all of our
Yeah.
guests.
Yeah. I can imagine.
So many common themes.
Yeah. You guys should do like a recap at the end and be like, this is after X amount of episodes. These are the top 5 themes that we saw.
I've been waiting and looking and trying to come up with ideas for content. So thank you. That's
So there-
beautiful.
Type that down right now.
I am.
Like, you know,
Right now.
what do you call those things where it's like you've got like the big words and the small, like the word
Word map?
maps, so the
Yeah.
word jumble thingies? Like, what if we maybe this, I don't know, we're still going, but this is like, what if we took the transcripts of every single episode and made like a word map of that and had it take out like the most
Yeah.
like used word?
You probably get a lot of ums or I's.
Yeah, no
Well,
kidding.
you know what I mean, but like, yeah.
That could be cool.
Hmm.
But it makes me think of did you ever listen to the podcast, the Headspace podcast? It's like on NPR of like how I built this or
Oh
something.
my God, Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had the creators of Headspace on there.
Oh,
And he
Headspace.
was a
Yeah.
Buddhist monk.
Okay.
turned
Oh, I've heard about
entrepreneur.
this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool, like, listening to him. And just, like, how do you go from, like, being a devoted monk to making a headspace, like, to making headspace. So, he had a partner. I forgot his name, though, which is not great.
Do you know Andrew Huberman?
I've heard the name.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, as a neuroscientist, you go check out Andrew Huberman's podcast.
I was like, I feel he's
It
been
called the
recommended
Huberman
before.
Lab. Like
Yeah.
he's like he talks all things. So like you figuring out the effects of estrogen
Mhm.
on sleep and things like that. Like he has a lot of episodes on like sleep, neurotransmitters,
Mhm.
dopamine,
Mhm.
and it's like lots of practical info you should check out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
really
was like, I've heard
I,
of the
I
name
find it so
before.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome that he's, like, taking that and making it digestible. Maybe he needs a board game
Mm.
that explains it.
That'd be pretty cool. Well, that could be a whole different
That could be a whole
business, right?
different
Like
thing. Yeah.
a board game to teach you how to meditate, or a board game to teach you how
Yeah.
to, I don't know.
Do it.
Maybe a
Explain what
meditation one.
neurotransmitters are and all.
And board games
Yeah.
are still so popular, so much
Yeah.
more popular than I would think.
I know.
Screens and
Yeah.
like iPad kids these days.
Yeah.
But I think that's why they're popular.
Oh, 1000%.
Get away from
Well,
it.
1000%.
it's. I mean, you have to remember for like kids board games, you uh, you have to market it toward the kids, but almost even more so the parents because it's
Mhm.
the parents who are buying it.
And
You know
they're
what I mean?
playing it.
And they're playing it too.
Yeah.
The family is playing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what was I saying with that?
Well, I think you were saying like you're competing with YouTube
Yeah.
as a board game.
Yes, exactly. Like you're competing against like TikTok and like
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
Shorts, like, and you kind of have to own the fact that you're not going to be as like dopamine inducing as
Yeah.
like YouTube Shorts, and like maybe that's exactly why parents may want to buy your game,
Yeah.
right? Because it'll keep your kids, engaged off screens and also teach them some science along the way.
Yeah. Delayed gratification.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Like, that's definitely, like, something, like, in these interviews that has come up a lot. Like, we had one mom be like, I set my 2 boys when they're, like, after an argument or something like that. I was like, I make them play a board game together because that way they're off the screen and they're spending time together so that it's not the same as, like, putting them in front of a movie or something like that. So that, like, sense of community and, like, lack of technology in terms of, like, advancements and, like, digital, 'cause all that has been a huge appeal to people.
It's collaborative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even if it's competitive, it's still collaborative. Yeah. A lot of people bring up just, like, the human experience that they have, and, like, I love making my loved ones laugh, or I love having, like, fake arguments and all that. Or well, sometimes they're not fake. Like, some people are like, "We can't play that game because of how aggressive it got." Um, but again, just that, like, genuine human connection for, like, 60 minutes is kinda crazy.
Yeah. And it's crazy that that's not common
Yeah.
anymore. Like
Yeah.
we have to go searching for that human connection,
Yeah.
which is just a byproduct of technology, and people and companies always wanted to do better and spending
Mhm.
time working. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. You're in a fun business, right?
Yeah.
Like you're making people
Yeah.
smile. It's not
Yeah.
something where
that's a good point. You're not. It's not like a sin industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or just, like, a really, like, for lack of a better word, like, serious industry.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah.
like, the
Yeah.
cancer cell research startup,
Yeah.
that's, like, has a melancholy tone to it.
Yeah.
But, like, a board game company is supposed to be fun. And, like, on top of that, it's a game that I wanna play, which is, like, really cool too. Like, when I'm like, "Wait, I would spend time doing this." So,
That's when you know your product is really good when you would buy it yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully unbiasedly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know it's really good when a million people buy it too. But
Well, that's true.
yeah,
That's
I
true.
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you ever see yourself running this full time if opportunity presented itself?
I would love to, actually. I think it would be really cool to be like Dr. Hall, the board game, like, scientist or whatever.
So giving up maybe not giving up. Say you have a great career in
Yeah.
research, and then
On the side. And
the board game grows.
Yeah.
Like, would you ever give that up?
That would be a question for me when that's actually happening.
Sure.
Because right now, I'm not sure I'm in a position where I could like actually make that decision.
Sure.
Just given everything that is currently going on.
Understood.
Yeah, so I don't know. It'd be cool to be like, oh, I'm a millionaire board game maker.
Have it in your back pocket, though.
Yeah. And it's a fun like college story too.
Exactly.
Like I can just kind of drop that and be like, oh yeah, I made a board game. And they're like, you did what now? And I'm like, yeah.
It's kind of like us with this like podcast.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a fun story. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I don't think people do that enough.
Like
Just-
I'm a big
yeah.
fan of just like doing kind of like fun random stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like the
Like-
or what is it, like dad lore? When you
Yeah.
like walk by a
Yeah.
building and your dad's like, oh yeah, I got robbed there like 3 years ago or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Just randomly mention it.
Oh yeah.
I was like a big fan of dad lore.
Oh yeah.
That's fun. Do you have any other questions for us? You don't have to. I just
I know.
Sure.
That was I had that one on the dome.
Yeah.
No, not really.
I don't think we've had a guest ask us questions.
I'm glad I could.
I think Colin asked.
Oh,
Courtney did too.
Courtney.
She asked me
so
about.
you lied. Is what just happened.
I just forgot.
No, it's-
We were at the point even only with 13 people that it's like,
Yeah.
wait, what did
What
they say?
are we talking about?
No, we were talking about how like once we get to like 100 guests or even like 50, honestly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Once we get to like 45, 50 guests, like
we're not gonna know who.
we're not gonna remember like and
Who did-
of course we've had
yeah.
great discussions, but like when you I mean, if each episode's like an hour on average,
Mhm.
that's like 50 hours of conversations. Like
Yeah.
you're not I mean, I don't even remember like what I talked about with someone like a week ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
That's what I'm thinking about. Like 50 is a lot of people.
and then eventually
like it
we're gonna
doesn't feel like it.
and then
but
eventually
it
we're
is.
gonna forget like we're gonna be like, oh, we had them on the pod. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about them. Or like got no memory. You don't think?
No.
Eventually.
I don't think I will. I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's just me.
I probably will.
Yeah, I was like, or something else. We'll see what happens.
If we get to 2,000 like Joe Rogan, then yes.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
it's like yeah, it's great being on your show like a couple years ago. Like, and who
You
are
did
you?
well. At that point, you'd have to do like the research.
Yeah.
Like make sure we haven't had them before.
We have a spreadsheet that we
Mhm.
put their like info. on it.
Info on.
So like
Yeah.
Control F, try to find
That's
them on
cool.
that. But
Would you bring people back? Like be like, oh, when we first talked to you, this was such. You
Actually-
just had an idea.
Totally.
I actually wanted
And,
to talk to you about that. We can definitely bring people back on for sure.
I mean, if
The
board
prime-
game is the number one played board
No,
game in the
once it,
country, like,
once it
totally,
blows,
please do.
once it blows up, don't forget us. Don't forget,
Yes.
don't forget us.
No, for sure. I'll give you a signed copy and everything.
Oh,
It'll be.
we can play while
Free,
we're.
baby.
That's
Free.
right. I don't know.
How much is it gonna be?
Ideally, we'd want it around like it's gonna sound expensive, but at least like to me it's expensive. Is like around $45 to $55. Just because of the production value that's going into it, the content that we want to include in it. We have to make sure like it's all research and accurate and all that, which has been like my big role in developing it. And then in terms of just like printing costs and making sure the artwork and graphics look really good and all that.
Yeah, how much our printing costs? Like,
Like it's hard because if you with anything, of course, if you want to print a smaller amount, it's going to cost more
sure.
than a larger, like when you get down to like the per item pricing of it. So hopefully with where we're at, it's around like 50 or so dollars to kind of print one copy of it.
And you're gonna sell them for 45?
Right now, like if we were to do just like one copy, it
Understand.
would be 50.
Okay, so if you were ready and you ordered 1,500,
Mm-hmm.
would that bring it down to what, like 30?
Ideally,
Mhm.
ideally we can get it around like the $15 range.
Okay.
Just because you kind of standardize things. So, just so then like you're not printing a new token like every single like a funky shape. You kind of go with a more like standard circular token, or you keep the cards all the like normal standard card size and not instead of like the giant.
'Cause for sure there are some factories and manufacturing companies
Mhm.
that like you can print like the same kind of card, but you put your design on it for and then there's like other games where there's so many like meticulously crafted pieces where you're like this is not like some mass produced
Yeah.
like this was created just for this.
This is
Are
which
there
is
gonna
like
be-
cool too.
Are there gonna be any of those pieces you think? Or is it gonna be pretty like simple, general?
I think where we're at right now, it'll be general. But then you can do like what a lot of games do is they like produced a new version of it. So maybe in this like newer version, you have like a full like robot model that you can like put together and take apart and stuff like that. So to have that like specialty.
There's also like choking hazards you have to think about too. I was just
Yeah.
thinking about that, like the liability.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, that's why you have like that age restriction
Yeah.
on there. And
Does that protect you? Like if a kid swallowed your thing and
I'll be totally honest, I don't
yeah,
know.
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if you say it's 12 plus and then like a 6-year-old plays it, like
I was
what
thinking
happens?
like think of Monopoly. Like
Yeah.
they probably sold millions, maybe
Yeah.
probably not billions,
I was
but
like, you know how much
definitely millions
that's
of
been ingested for sure.
and the amount of kids like that's
Yeah.
pretty common. Like how the amount of lawsuits they probably receive, or
I feel like there has to be some legal protection.
that's what I'm saying.
against that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What was your guess for how many boards of Monopoly?
Like I'd say like 300 million,
I would go more than that.
not a billion.
No.
34.
Oh, you're not in your head. Wait.
It was really close. It was
Oh, you went.
275 million.
Oh no way.
Wow. Wait,
was a
that's right.
guess.
Yeah. And they come out, and is that like just the like Monopoly itself, not any of the other like versions of it?
I'm not sure.
Like, you know, like there's Marble or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Like,
That sounds about right, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah,
Very-
definitely not like a billion. A billion is like
way too much.
that's like the amount of like iPhones that are probably, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it doesn't say like the breakdown of standard versus special.
Oh, okay.
But-
But that's saying
could
it's
be more.
total.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a lot of Monopoly sets.
That is.
So-
a lot of fake cash.
It's a lot of race car, you know, the race.
Or the thimble.
Yeah, the thimble. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of thimble. Yeah.
That's funny. I wonder how much money is in
Oh my
how much
gosh.
fake money is in each.
Oh my
Monopoly set.
Mhm.
300 million
That's-
times whatever.
That's a lot of Monopoly
Whatever
money.
it is, yeah.
Uh,
Bank
Yeah.
rolling in it.
billions and trillions of money
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the world.
So is $50 expensive for a board game? To me, it sounds a little bit expensive.
Again, it depends on the market that you're targeting.
Yeah.
So if we're going like general and Target or Walmart or something like that, then yeah, 50 is like pretty expensive. You're not really gonna pull that game off the shelf.
Because I saw Monopoly was $12 at Target.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you're considering there is that like exactly there's so many copies of it.
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturing of it super cheap. You're at that point just like paying for like the materials that you need. But in terms of like these more like niche board games, 50 is like pretty moderate. It's kind of like in the middle. There's some that are like around 45, and then there's some that get as expensive as like $85 to do. So it just depends on how complex the game is, how many moving parts there are, if you have wood versus plastic versus metal in the game.
I would be willing to pay $50 for a game
Yeah.
like that, especially if I was a parent.
Yeah.
You figure like it's gonna last you like years.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a one-use thing.
No, the goal is to have a lot of replayability. So
It'll last you a long time. So
yeah, and especially if you have like different like the combinations you can make are pretty endless. Well, I mean, like obviously there's a statistical whatever, but so like the gameplay is going to be different. Like you don't know if you're actually going to win this round because you don't have this part and like all that stuff.
Yeah. I see that as a gift, being like, okay, I'll spend $50 on a gift for my family friends who
Yeah.
have a little kid.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
great.
Exactly. Yeah, replayability I would say is another thing that like makes it a good board game.
Sure.
Do people feel like, oh, did I get a good experience out of playing that game? And B, would I come back and play it again now that like I understand it more?
is that it?
Yeah, I don't.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I learned way more about board games
Yeah, I
than I
know.
thought I would.
I'm so glad. I
Yeah.
did too.
I had a feeling it was kind of like this sort of like world that like
Mhm.
that's kind of like in and of itself that I didn't really know about, and
Yeah.
that's true. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like you've got conventions,
Mhm.
there's like a science behind it,
There really is.
Yeah.
And people that are like dedicated to
Yeah.
their research behind.
and there's a big
Yeah.
like community behind it too.
Mhm.
Got all these people, investors, players, designers who love the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
It is. It's awesome. So you should make a board game.
So where can people reach you?
I am kind of in between emails right now, so unfortunately, I can give you I do have
You have
LinkedIn. I do have LinkedIn.
So just Graycen Hall, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the one that looks like me. So. LinkedIn.
We'll link everything in, and they'll be able to connect it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll give you what I have.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Sounds
Well, thank
good.
you guys so much. This was awesome.
Absolutely. Thank
Happy
you for
to
coming.
be here.
Appreciate it.
Always. I'll be back on the recap episode when I make it big.
Exactly.
Please
So look for me in the future.
forget it.
Don't forget.
Don't forget us. Please don't.
Awesome.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah.